Hi, my name is Sven and you are watching Seguro, the World of Miniatures. And in this video I'm trying to achieve two goals. First of all, I want to use speed painting to paint a marine up to the normal tabletop standard. And secondly, I will process this marine in such a way that I can put it on my shelf. Beyond tabletop standard for me. So two working steps on the same mini, the first using time measuring. Let's go. The model I use is this Primaris Space Marine. After I have the wet palette ready, we use several colors. Magic Blue by Vallejo as the main color of the armor, Silver Grey for the highlights, and in a mix with Magic Blue and Negro Black, also Vallejo, for the shadow, of course, of the miniature. First we will paint the entire armor of the Marine with Magic Blue. Here I try as often as possible to leave out objects that will not have the blue color. In other words, we save ourselves the work step of painting over the blue again with another color and so prevent bluish coloring in all parts of the miniature. It is important to ensure that the eyes are not painted blue, as a blue background color can have a negative effect. So since we did not completely blindly throw the colors on our miniature, but showed a little love for detail, we come to about 30 minutes of working time. If you repeat this process over and over, you will automatically become faster. Next, we will mix colors the first time. Here's Silver Grey and Negro Black from Vallejo to get a nice shade of grey. It is also possible to add a little more of one of the two colors towards the end, so that you can insert a small shadow effect. Don't forget, you can now use the same grey to paint the bolter. Here, too, you can work with differently mixed shades of grey, but then it costs more time. Also, the scanner and some industrial parts of the backpack can also be processed with the same mix. Then we use a darker shade of grey, adding more black for the hollow of the knees and other stretchable moving parts of the armor. Then we mix our own black wash. For this, you take a black color of your choice and combine it with enough water. You put this resulting wash over all grey armor parts, gladly also about the weapons. I briefly take the time to revise small mistakes. Of course, if you want, you can skip that. And now we use some beastie brown for the leather parts. You can mix it also with every brighter color to get a small highlight at the end of the whole leather, because the light is coming from above and hits the leather at the end. Then I will take care of the chest and the beautiful symbol of a skull and the wings from this marine. For this I use sun yellow and mix this yellow color with a little black and brown in order not to control a pure yellow shade. I always like Warhammer a bit darker than too colorful, but this is my own madness. We use the same color for the decoration outlines on the shoulders. Be careful with your eyes. Now use bloody red and try to hit the eyes as carefully as possible. Should you paint over something here, this is not the problem. We aim at speed painting. Now fill out the scanner display with the same red color and a little bit more water. Now we use Beastie Brown and a little bit silver gray for the color of the seals and the paper. And now use some red on the wax. Now we're trying to kill 3 birds with 1 stone. First, dry brush with silver gray for the highlights on the armor and weapon. Second, dry brush for a more used impression of the miniature. And thirdly, dry brush, yeah, you can't believe it, for the incidence of light. So dry brush the whole thing. Since we still have usable pure yellow paint on the wet palette, we use this briefly to paint the outermost parts of the wings on the chest a little brighter than the rest. It's a small detail, but you will love it. Now a self-made wash out of bloody red and water for the chest. So you will simulate a little bit gold, but we never use Metalcolors on this one. And then another wash. Nuln oil from Citadel for the whole miniature. I only pay attention to the areas that are underneath the light, in the shadow parts. Otherwise, the whole dry brush step from before would be totally unnecessary. Last but not least, we use a matte varnish to finalize the colors so that the miniature does not lose color through constant touching while playing. And like I said, a matte varnish. Ultra matte varnish. Not shiny. A marine while fighting is not shiny. Believe me. Just stay a little bit darker with this game. And we actually come to 1 hour and 30 minutes. Please note that I never stop time to mix colors, clean the brush and let the miniature dry. I like the result and would be totally happy in the game. If I had to paint an entire army, that would be the way of doing it. So now for the second step in this video. The Primaris has to be prettier. Here and there we use effects and see if the mini gets a nice base. We briefly look at the marine from above and recognize the places that we have to paint in light. So we have to make the color lighter. The existing color has to be selected again and brightened. In contrast, the lower part, which we cannot see, has to be darkened. We lighten our magic blue color with white or silver gray, it's up to you. Here you can take a 1 to 2 mix of silver gray and blue. We will then see our first highlights. Don't worry, these will be better accentuated with the blue color later. Then we mix a little more blue. The trick is that we work our way through from light to dark. Draw one line of color after the other and connect them to one another through light moisture. We see a clear opportunity for improvement here and there, but basically I'm happy with the legs. It should be emphasized here that the rear leg of the Marine was painted much darker as it receives less light. Now we can concentrate on the upper part of the body and stick to the motto light above, dark below corners, light on the corners and edges. Of course, it is up to you whether you also add a little light to the edges, but edge highlighting should never be exaggerated, otherwise it will look absolutely unrealistic. Okay, so far so good. The shoulders will of course be slightly revised, but you can also use the same technique to make the yellow areas more detailed. Bright yellow on the highest area, and below you are getting darker and darker. The next step is that the wings and the skull on the chest are highlighted again, but now better. For this you take a lighter yellow color and carefully pull it over the mentioned ends of the wings and over the forehead of the skull. Then you can use any color to highlight the wing symbol on the bolter with a color mix of water of 50-50. The leather parts are also improved. To do this, simply lighten the outer areas of the leather and darker areas towards the edges, more to the body. Beastie brown mix with more and more black. It is also possible to draw lighter lines over the edges of the leather bag to give the leather more used look. This is because leather breaks after heavy use. We improve the seal with the same technique and adapt it to our color choice. Another good color for seals and paper mixed with white is the color Bone White by Vallejo. Now we come to the new wash. Army Painter's soft tone for the leather and non-oil again for the rest. Here you can mix non-oil with a small drop of black. The black is your choice, but the black will add more color particles to the wash. With non-oil, only draw fine over the areas that should also have a dark shadow effect. I'm satisfied with it, and we have very attractive look with highlights, incidence of light, shadow effects and more pleasant colors. I also painted the eye a little bit lighter red-white mix at the end so that develop more depth in the eye. To do this, you will put the lighter red at the end of the eye. We finish the figure again with matte varnish. But one small thing is still missing: the base. The colors in the background illustrate the next step. A beautiful base improves absolutely every mini. We first paint the base with brown and green tones. Then we put grass glue on the base and distribute it on the still slightly damp base. It's just impatience of my part of me. Please let the paint dry first. As a basic surface, we sprinkle normal grass from Army Painter over the base. This grass only serves as a scaffolder for the next step. I own these wonderful little mini rocks that I bought through Wish. These look perfect on this base. Now we come to the fine step. The grass glue is used to put small tracks over the stones. These are then used to simulate some grass and moss growing over the stone. A little brown and green for the stones. Black for the base edge. I forgot to record just one small step. I still use color pigments. Brown for the ground near the grass and rust for the marine's backpack. Here we see our finished marine after speed painting and more detailed finish. Thanks for watching. You can subscribe this channel anytime. Don't forget to comment and like. Stay healthy, stay cool, and be a mini painter.